Hello, friends, and welcome back to VHS. I'm your host, Jesse. Now that Deadpool and Wolverine has put a period on the end of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine journey, a thought occurred to me. If I want to go back and experience this epic Wolverine journey again, what are the Wolverine-centric movies that I actually need to watch? And which are the ones that I can skip without missing any important piece of the journey? Well, let's find out. Tier list style. So let's take a look at our categories. Main story. This is the main story. These are the movies you're going to go binge in this order. We'll try to put it in order, right? To have the complete idea of the Hugh Jackman Wolverine story from the beginning to the end, okay? Side missions. Below that, these are the movies that still have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in them, but isn't necessarily about him, right? He's not necessarily a central figure, and it doesn't really advance his story one way or the other, okay? Final category. It's your life, brother. I'm not going to watch this movie again, or these movies. We'll see how many end up there. But you can. You know why? It's your life, brother. Enjoy yourself. All right, let's get started. First up, the OG, X-Men. You have to start here, right? If you're going to do the journey from soup to nuts, from beginning to end, from alpha to omega, you have to start with the original X-Men. Number one, this is where we are introduced, the whole world, right, was introduced to Hugh Jackman out of nowhere. This dude had been in London singing and dancing in things like Oklahoma. He's an Australian man. In London's West End, starring in Oklahoma, it's very confusing to all of us. But somehow that added up to him being Wolverine. And it totally worked, right? This is casting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine has to be considered one of the greatest moves 20th Century Fox ever made as a studio, right? Second only to probably letting themselves be sold to Fox, which was, so they are Fox, sold to Disney, of course. So X-Men 1, gotta do it. Not a perfect movie, but is the beginning of the journey. We immediately go to X2. Okay, X2. Now, I know on the X-Men tier list, we're talking about X2 as perhaps one of the greatest, if not the greatest superhero movie still ever made. It's in the running. You can talk about it. You can debate with all the new ones, of course. Hugh Jackman is a huge part of this movie. Wolverine plays a major role. This is where his love of Jean, right? The love triangle with him, Jean, and Cyclops plays out in a awesome, sad, very satisfying way with the end of this movie. We don't have to, I'm going to say it full spoilers. I should have said this earlier. You know what? I'm going to insert this. Spoiler alert. Probably going to cut that in. It's going to look weird out of context. Spoiler alert. We're talking about all the movies. Spoiler alert. Now back to the regular show. X2, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, ascending. It's all coming up. It's getting good. And we think it's going to keep getting good. It's just going to keep getting good. And that's why we were all a little bummed out when X3 came out. And it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. Brett Ratner, the new director, is a lot of why it's not good. The studio kind of not sure what to do is a lot of why it's not good. A lot of reasons we don't need to see X-Men The Last Stand. I gotta say it properly. X-Men The Last Stand. We don't really need to see it again. But, you know, if you're going to do the whole journey, I get it. You can jump in here, get a little X-Men, get a little more Wolverine, a little more Jean Grey. But it's kind of repeating the beats from the second one. So if you skip this, you're not actually going to lose out on the Hugh Jackman Wolverine experience. Okay? No big deal. Now, here we go. Here we go. Now we got our first real problem. It's your life, brother. It's your life. But I don't think you need to watch Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Gotta get all these dumb titles right. I don't think you need to see X-Men Origins Wolverine ever again. I don't know that it's even really all that canon. The only time it gets referenced is when Deadpool movies are making fun of it, right? Okay. I mean, listen, as a curio, this is one of those that I would say, I get why you're doing this if you want to show someone, oh, you think you've seen a bad superhero movie? Let me show you this one. It's really bad. The Blob is bad. The little cuts to Baby Storm and all these things are supposed to get people excited. They just miss the mark so bad, right? It's the beginning. Is this the beginning? I was about to say that. And then, you know, I think I'm going to stand by this. X-Men Origins Wolverine is maybe the beginning of the end of the Fox cinematic Marvel universe. You know what I mean? The Last Stand was a bad third movie, but it felt like a wrap-up and we were moving on. X-Men Origins Wolverine felt like, hey, we're starting something new and we have no idea what to do and it's not good. Bummer times. Okay, good news is on the way though, because right after that, we finally got a real director and we came in and we made The Wolverine. James Mangold makes The Wolverine, not a side mission. This is a main story movie for me, and I'll tell you why. Because I know some of you might be sitting at home going, Jesse, this is literally a side mission. It's a bottle episode. Takes place before the other movies. He's in Japan doing a lot of the scratch, cool comic stuff that we love from that era. But this is a great movie. And beyond it just being a good movie on its own, this is the movie that helps solidify the idea of Wolverine's standalone story being able to contain a franchise, support a franchise, right? Keep it alive, keep it interesting, keep people coming back to the theater. It was R-rated. That was super exciting, right? This is the R-rated one. I'll go check that. A lot of good violence. Ultimately, kind of a nothing burger in the end, right? It sort of fights the Silver Samurai suit. It's fun. It's good. You're like, oh, we know Wolverine's not going to die because he's going to end up in the X-Men movies. The stakes are a little low, but I would put this as the beginning of the standalone Wolverine movie journey that you really should see. Okay, let's take a look. Going up next, of course, Logan. We'll get to the other X-Men movies in a minute and you'll see why. Logan is, of course, an absolutely, completely necessary film in the in the Wolverine Hugh Jackman cinematic journey. Some people are going to get a little upset. We're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine next. And if you've seen both of these movies, you know where I'm going with this. The idea of what they do at the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine that sort of desecrates, quite literally, the gravesite of Logan from the end of Logan. My take on that is ultimately relax. These are all just comic booky movies, and these all could be different iterations of different multiverses, yada, yada. There's plenty of ways to explain it away. But Logan is a super good movie, okay? Super good. The introduction of X-23, incredibly important for his journey. The ending, right? We're talking spoilers. The death of Wolverine at the end. Beautiful, beautiful end. Except he didn't really get to reckon with a lot of his stuff in Logan. What he got to do was sacrifice himself for someone else, right? We lose Charles in that movie. Excuse me. And his sacrifice for X-23 is like a nice way for him to say, all of the bad things I've done, I can make it worth it by sacrificing for this kid and helping her go forward. But what he doesn't actually get to do is reconcile with that past, with those decisions, with all those mistakes as he sees them. That's what he gets to do in Deadpool and Wolverine. I was feeling last night as I rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine, how much, honestly, this movie might have been called Wolverine and Deadpool. And the emotional ending to the Wolverine journey here is incredibly satisfying and shows us there was more to be said than just Logan. Logan wasn't the end. The reflections that Wolverine goes through, that Logan goes through in several dialogue scenes in Deadpool and Wolverine brings an extra fine point on the end, where instead of just the sacrifice for the guy who lost it all and isn't worth anything anyway, actually understands that living, right? Learning from our mistakes and learning how to be better, to be a part of the team. There's a great speech right in Deadpool and Wolverine where he talks about how Storm and Cyclops and Jean always wanted him to wear the suit, but he had to make them never think that he wanted to be there, right? He had to always make them feel like he didn't want to be part of the team, and that's all they wanted him to be. And that's what he kind of comes to understand and really appreciate only in Deadpool and Wolverine at the very end. That's what makes it crucial for the full, complete picture. And that's your main story. That's your main story. If we go down here and look again, let's see. What's the first one I want to pick up here? First Class. First Class. It's just a funny cameo, right? They go to the bar, they ask for his help, he tells them to go screw. Funny, but not a big deal, okay? Side mission, totally. X-Men Apocalypse, better movie. Better movie. Of the, and maybe not better than First Class, those are both pretty good, right? There's a couple good ones in that mix, in that second phase of the X-Men. It really starts falling off right after this, but it doesn't matter. If you're trying to follow the Logan journey, the Wolverine journey, X-Men Apocalypse doesn't really matter. It's a lot of fun, and the way they use him is fun and clever in a comic booky way, but totally not necessary. And then finally, X-Men Apocalypse. Haha, you tried to sneak up there. This movie stinks. This movie stinks. I'm just going to say that twice. I'm going to say it 3 times. This movie stinks. And Wolverine's only in it in the cool Weapon X flashback, which is fun, A lot of people wanted to see him in the headgear thing and the underwear thing and coming out of the goo and all that. Yeah, people wanted to see that, but it's no big deal and it doesn't matter, right? So I would rather, honestly, you go onto YouTube and like find that clip and just relive that one clip. Same thing with First Class. You don't need to sit through a whole movie for that little Wolverine bit. But it's your life, brother. All right, here we go. This is the full tier list. Your main story, if you want to go binge and relive that Wolverine journey from beginning to end, and it is an end, right? Deadpool and Wolverine is the end, right? Please and thank you on that. Okay. X-Men 1, X2, The Wolverine, Logan, Deadpool, Wolverine. 5 movies, you get the fully encapsulated journey. And it's beautiful. It really is awesome. I think this one's going to get more credit the farther we get away from it when we compare it to other journeys and stories that were told, characters that were built up and loved. This is maybe still one of the best, okay? And the side missions. X-Men The Last Stand is not a good movie, but if you watch those first 2 and you're like, God, I have this need, this cathartic yen to get to the end and like see this story end, fine. But it's a side mission. It doesn't change Logan's journey in any way, okay? X-Men First Class. Good movie, okay? It's a cameo. You don't need to watch it for Logan, right? For Wolverine, that's what we're talking about. And of course, X-Men Days of Future Past, super fun. If you're like, no, I just want to see all the good movies with Wolverine in it. I get it. You can put it up there. It can be part of your journey. It's fun. It's a good story. It's a good standalone story for Wolverine to have. But truthfully, it doesn't affect his story overall one way or the other. So if you miss it, you won't actually miss anything, okay? And then, it's your life, brother. I'm not even gonna say it. Okay, I'll say it. X-Men Origins Wolverine and X-Men Apocalypse are simply 2 of the worst movies that were ever made. I don't think I have to be more specific than that. So thanks for joining us. Tell me in the comments what I got wrong, what you think is super important to enjoy Logan. What did I mix these up? You want to switch some of these around? Tell me all about it. And come see me next time for another tier list. We're getting into Christmas time. We're going to do some of that fun on the channel, and we're rolling ahead with a lot more content. We'll see you over the holiday season. We'll see you in the new year, and we'll see you next time. Because we live here, only on VHS. Take 'em home, Craig.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Oh, and please like and subscribe. Check out more of our videos. Leave a comment. Or don't. You do you.